This will do happy. Come on, try to do this. I'm gonna start. I'm trying to start in Welsh. This is not a good idea, but you know, this will do happiest. I think. Anyway, happy St David's Day, or rather, that was yesterday. I'm sorry for my terrible Welsh pronunciation, but that should roughly translate to happy St David's Day. But anyway, welcome to another episode of Brightening Barrow. And if you hadn't guessed by my rambling on about Welsh, we're looking at St David's Day. And we are going to be looking also briefly at the easing of the lockdown restrictions and just sort of maybe some tips and just to make sure that definitely everybody knows about it. So, starting off with St David's Day. What do we know about him? Who is he? Where's he come from? No, Wales, I presume. Want to start us off?
Yeah. So, St David was born in the year 500 in Pembrokeshire, apparently on a cliff during a storm, which is interesting because that's
very
unusual.
eventful.
Yes. And he eventually became a preacher. He did like miracles, and he is the patron saint of Wales.
So one of his more famous miracles, that is, if anybody does know about them, because despite him being patron saint, you don't really learn much about them nowadays. I don't remember doing it. So his most famous one is when he was preaching to a large crowd at Llandwi Brefi, I think. Something along those lines anyway. Yes, I'm going to be butchering lots of Welsh words during this episode, but I try my best. Anyway, but the people at the back couldn't see, so it said that the ground that he was standing on was raised so he could sit, so everybody could see him, and my background apparently. And then a white dove, which is a symbol of the Holy Spirit of peace, was sent by God, and that rested on his shoulder. This is probably his most famous miracle. He was also a monk, well, or he lived with monks at least, and because of this, he was teetotal and a vegetarian. It's often said that he only ate leeks and drank water, which is possibly why the leek is now a natural symbol of Wales.
So he died on the 1st of March, which is now St David's Day, and is yesterday as we're recording this, probably a few days ago now. And that was in 1589 that he died. Okay, was he born in 500? So he'd lived 89 years.
It was certainly around.
That seems like a long time.
I think it's completely from when he lived. So it was around year 506th century, and then died in, as you said, 1589. He was canonized, in other words, being made a saint. That was in the 12th century. We don't have a more accurate year, and that was by Pope Calipus. And that was in the 12th century, and we've been celebrating St David's Day, or rather, people of Wales have. We don't really make that much of a fuss in England. So in between his birth and death, he did a lot. We mentioned that he performed miracles and he was a preacher, but he also founded a monastery in around 560. And this is the monastery is it's in Pembrokeshire in West Wales, simply known as St David's, and this is believed to be sort of near the area that he was born. The problem with sort of these older saints, there's a lot of saints from centuries and centuries ago, it's never very clear about their life. We only kind of get snippets from people writing things down, but obviously not all people wrote, so this can be very broken up. I'm sure many of you will have nicknames for each other, and possibly you have one yourself. Well, David also had a nickname. He was known as David the Water Drinker. An odd nickname, but it's said to have derived from the fact that, as we mentioned earlier, he drank water and leeks. He didn't drink leeks, though. And ate leeks. That's where it was said to be derived from.
His final words to his followers were, well, supposedly they were, do the little things, the small things you've seen me doing, or do the little things that you've heard and seen me do, which is very nice quote.
Or at least the equivalent in Welsh, which I'm not going to attempt to say. Yeah, we realise that this is slightly disjointed, so we've got a lot of information on David. The information is fairly dotted about, so we're trying best to it's a bit of an interesting episode. There's not much is happening.
Definitely not the most interesting episode ever.
No, but it's useful to know about these saints and what they did, because we hear about them. I mean, everyone knows it's St. David's Day, or most people do anyway, but who is he? It is important that we talk about and we know about it. It's, unless you want to add anything else, we want to look at the restrictions and how we're lifting them.
Yeah, I think we should probably. Yeah, and I'm going to take my glasses off. No, it won't look weird anymore.
So, since the start of this year, everyone has been learning virtually on various virtual platforms, either having online lessons or having work sent to them and various bits and things like that. But on the 8th of March, we'll be able to go back, and it's going to be quite a big thing, I reckon. So, how do you feel about going back then, having done 2-ish months of online learning?
To be honest, at first I was a bit not too happy about it, because I feel like I'm just now getting used to being at home, and now we're having to go back, and it's a bit then I'm gonna have to get used to it again. But I think now that they've kind of it's definitely happening, and hopefully we'll be there for good and we won't have to come home again. I think I've kind of I've come to what's the word I'm thinking of? I've come to the idea.
Yeah,
it's not the word.
Yeah, so this type of thing is going throughout on the all through the 8th of March, and that sort of date. Lots of things are starting to reopen, looking primarily at sort of education and care homes and things like that. And also, you don't have to go on a walk, although I do recommend going for walks. But to meet somebody else, you can now, in theory, go and meet outside with one other person. Say, have a coffee on a bench, as BBC have quoted. So, I mean, well, I quite enjoy going for the walks, so I'll probably continue doing that. It's nice that we can start getting to see other people in a more recreational way, just going out and meeting them outside, obviously. We won't be able to do inside until April, I think it is. But if we are to move forward to the 29th of March, the rule of 6 is back. Or you can meet outside with one other household, so that'll be interesting. And things start getting looser after the 29th of March. And it's progressively things start opening, so midway through April-ish, or shops can open and things like that. You can attend weddings now. And then it eventually goes down to the 21st of June, where hopefully everything should be removed, or all the restrictions should be removed. So, just as a brief overview, what do you think about how it's been done? Is it too quick? Is it too slow? Is it just right? What are your thoughts on
it? I think it was coming quite fast, like compared to what it has been. But I think that's because of the rate that people are getting vaccinated now, which is it's a good thing. So yeah, it's quite good that we've kind of picked up the pace a bit and kind of getting ahead of the problem, and we're hopefully going to be sorted soon.
Yes, hopefully close to, hopefully after 21st of June, when all the restrictions are hopefully being released, we'll be able to do a lot more with Brightening Barrow, so we can come out and do stuff. We can probably have more interesting episodes rather than just two of us sat on a video call talking about St David's Day. We should hopefully be able to get out and do bits and pieces. So whilst it's coming quite soon, because we're in March now, which is we've got this month, April, and then it's close to the end of June, close to the summer solstice. So it's sort of 3 months, not even 3 months. So we need to start thinking about what we can do. So if you'd like to let us know via our emails, via the website, or via the various social media, what can we do once we're out of the restrictions? That would be great, because we can start planning, we can start doing stuff, we can start being Brightening Barrow, how we really should be. And keeping with the Brighton effect, we're now going to move to our good news songs. Ooh. Okay, cut that woo out. I don't know why I didn't cut that out. Please cut that out. So from Brightening Barrow to Brightening Ulverston, historic potters have cleaned up the Ginnell Court in Ulverston, making it nice and bright, nice and clean, which is it's really incredible that people are still getting out and doing things, making towns look nice, in spite of, we can't really go out and see them. So Ulverston is being cleaned up, or rather the Ginnell is. And this is part of the scheme to brighten up Ulverston's historic streets.
So next month, Parkrun is set to make a return to England, which is exciting. So the organisation has shared its plans. So both the junior and the 5K Parkrun events are going to be reopening. But initially it's only going to be the junior Parkruns from April 11th. And it'll only be the 4 to 10-year-olds that'll be allowed, just to avoid too many people coming in. And then later on, the 11 to 14-year-olds will be invited back at the same time as the 5K Parkrun events begin in June the 5th. And that's really great. So if you like doing parkruns, then make sure you get back involved, because it's good to get exercise and it's very healthy. So
and now to congratulate an 8-year-old girl from Barrow who has raised over £3,000 for the NHS by doing a huge walking challenge. So she's walked 87 miles. No, it was an 87-mile target, which and actually she ended up doing 91 miles in only 28 days, which is really quite incredible when you think about how far it really is. So that's really quite well done. Yeah, that's it. Go on to the wrap up, I guess.
Yeah, so that's the end now. So thank you for watching episode 16 of the Brightening Barrow podcast. We aim to Brighton Barrow one stream at a time. I think it's episode 16, isn't it? Yeah.
It is now.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Share. Pause. Stop.